Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Hydra, and this is Rust Console Edition. Are you ready for what I have in store for you today? Well, if so, then like, subscribe, and follow me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Professional Power Copy and Paste. And this episode is all about power intake. So I've got a few different setups here to show you guys that I believe to be the best and optimal setup, because they did change the sun placement in the sky and how you collect power with the recent farming update. Before, the sun used to rise in the southeast. It would travel south all day long and then go down in the southwest. So you could have panels facing south and be collecting power all day long. So now we have to actually change a few things. So the optimal setup right now for a medium battery is actually this one right here. So you want to have two solar panels facing southwest, you want to have two solar panels facing northeast, and you want to have one south and one north. If you have them placed southeast and southwest, just like this is going to be your maximum power intake that you need in order to run a medium battery. And actually, well, this is the minimum setup that you need to run a medium battery efficiently at full peak power. So say you're running, your 5 turrets off of it, and you're running all the power through it, then this is the solar setup that you need. If you are going to be, and this is if you're hooking it up directly into the battery. So you're going directly from your solar into your tree right here, and then it's going directly into your battery. Now, if you're running a large battery, you want to add another panel to the north, another panel to the south, and you want to add one to the east and one to the west. So this is your optimal setup right here. You need 10 solar panels for this one instead of 6, just because you get a little bit more, it's more optimal power. Now, this is the setup that you need to use if you're going directly into your battery. So but I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys actually switch over to a battery management system. So something like the Hydra Core or the Ni Core or the simplest one, which is the OR Blocker Core. Those are all battery backup systems, and I highly recommend that you switch over and start using those. But if you're not, then this is the optimal setup for you right here. This is for 6, and then this is for 10. You're going to combine this with this. Yeah. Now, if you're doing a battery backup system, so like one of the ones I just described, then this 6 right here is your optimal setup for one medium battery. And if you're doing a large battery, then you want to run 12 solar panels just like this. So it is a couple extra solar panels compared to over here. Because these aren't set up optimally to collect the most amount of power throughout the day. These are actually set up a little bit different, and the reason why they're set up directly east and directly west is because when you're using a battery backup system, it's more important to have consistent power than it is to be overcharging your batteries and making sure you have excess power, because battery backup systems run off of consistent power far more than they do the batteries. That's why they make the batteries a backup system. So the reason why we're setting up our solar panels this way is because if you have your solar panels directly facing east, then the very second that sun goes up, which just happens to be 8 a.m. by the way, these will immediately start collecting power. They'll be at half power, about 10. But then very, very shortly after that, within 30 seconds to a minute, they'll be collecting full power. So with these 6 panels here, you'll be collecting 120 power. And when you're on a direct line system, you need at least 105. So this will immediately give you that power, and then you're going to receive way more power than you need throughout the day, because all of these solar panels will be functioning. So we get 2.5 minutes of sunrise, and we have 2.5 minutes of sunset. So during that first 2.5 minutes, only these eastern panels in the morning are going to collect solar panel power. However, if you have one south, northeast, or yeah, northeast, sorry, or even southeast, it doesn't really matter, but northeast collects a little bit more. But if you have northeast, then this collects a little bit more power before these do, but a little bit after the east and the west. So these will collect sun for the whole time that the sun is up in the middle of the sky, so after 10-ish a.m. And then all of your power loss gets lost at 7 p.m. High noon is 1 p.m. So we get 1 extra hour of sunlight in the morning than we do in the afternoon. So it's also more beneficial if you're only placing one solar panel for, say, a small battery for a light system, to face it north. You'll collect more power if you face it north than you will south. So, but just so a quick heads up, north or east is your highest gaining panel, followed by northeast, followed by southeast, followed by north and west, and then followed by west, southwest, and northwest. But I do find, so the reason why these are angled this way, northeast to southwest, is because the sun doesn't, even though I can look directly at the sun, and it's directly right in the middle of my screen facing east, and it will follow this whole path, and then it'll set directly in my west over here. So even though it does do that, it does favor slightly to the northeast and favors slightly to the southwest. So that's why I find this to be the optimal 6-panel setup, and then this to be the 10, and then this to be for your direct drive, because you always want to be gaining your 105 power. So this will gain you that 105 power super early in the morning, and it will continue to remain until super late at night. So, and if you are running a large battery, then I would definitely run the Nicore or the Hydra core off of something like that. However, this is a lot of solar panels. This is 12 solar panels. So the only real reason why you want to use this is if you're trying to be stealthy and kind of hide this in some honeycombing up on your roof. Or you just don't like the noise of this wind turbine, which is, completely fair because I don't like the sound of it either. But optimally, if you're going to be running your batteries, you want to be running them off of a wind turbine. So for a large battery, you want one wind turbine at least 10 stories up off the ground. And then you want 2 solar panels. You want one facing to the east and you want one facing to the west. So that way you have continuous power throughout the day, and you get the most amount of power. Because this one turbine, if you're going directly into the battery, you need 167 power in order to cover what you're running during the day, plus what you need at night when you're not receiving power from this. And you definitely want to hook this up to the Nicore system or the Hydra core. But this is the optimal setup right here that you can do if you're just running it directly into your battery. Now, if you are running it into the Hydra core or the Nicore, then you can use one singular turbine. One turbine will be enough to run a large battery, and then some. So what I am going to quickly do for you guys here, if I pull out my binoculars, we're going to look over at this base here right beside us, and we're going to look at their wind turbine tower. So right now, because he's built so high and he has such low stability, he has to build such a massive tower in order to put his wind turbine up there. So for each floor that he's going up, he's using 4 door frames, which adds up on the total cost for your upkeep and becomes super expensive to not only build, but to upgrade and maintain. So I'm going to show you guys how to, on console, that you can stick your turbine on one pillar just like this. And you can do this on any floor, on any base, it doesn't matter. And you want these to be at least 5 apart from each other in order to not block each other and gain the most amount of power. And you want these at least 10 stories up in the ground. So what I'm going to do is you could simply just build this one up all the way up if you wanted to. Here, let's actually go up 2. Right, so say we want it to be that high. Well, if we're way up on top of the base, we're going to have low stability. So we're going to put these pieces right in here temporarily. And this is just going to be our support pieces. We will remove these later. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to grab ourselves a ladder. I prefer ladders rather than netting because you can remove the ladders later. But we're going to put some ladders on here like this. And then as we climb, we're going to upgrade the one pillar that we want our wind turbines to be on. Now again, it doesn't matter. 10 high off of a foundation is the highest you can go. And it doesn't matter if you're going all the way up to 10. If you build this structure, you will be able to make this work. So now we're going to put the floor on here, and we're going to jump on top of it. Oh, I probably need to place my ladder a little better, so let's do that. So I'll place this one up a little bit higher. Jump onto there. Okay, so now we're up where we want to be. We're going to make sure that we again upgrade the piece that we want. And then we're going to put out another floor, just like this. So we have 2 floors. Then we're going to take our wind turbine, like so. Now, if you notice here on the wind turbine, there's one open space, and then you can rotate it around. Well, if you notice in this open space, we also have these 2 legs in the middle. Well, what we want to do is, this is no good. We actually want to rotate it, so then that way these legs right here are resting right on the center beam. So the best way to do that is we're going to visually look while it's this way, so that way it's nice and centered. So we know we're centered. We're going to hit square to rotate it, and we're going to place it. Now when we come back down onto our ladder here, we're going to be able to grab our tool, demolish this, and our wind turbine stands. And then you can get rid of all of your other supports all the way around, like so. Oh. Sorry, I do have a wonky controller, but go around, you get rid of everything. Most of it will fall apart because it doesn't have enough support. And there you go. Now you have a wind turbine. You can get this easily 10 stories off the ground, and it's going to add very, very minimal cost onto your base. And again, you want this 10 stories off the ground because then it's going to give you about full power, the full 150 power. It's going to give that to you about 90% of the time. So, and then once it does dip below it, you might get 1% of your playtime. This might not produce enough power to run the 2% of your playtime. This might not produce enough power, but it's always overproducing, so it's always overcharging your battery. So with this and an I-core or a Hydra core, you'll never run out of battery power ever again, and you'll be able to run anything you want. And then say you are running the Hydra core, you're going to want 4 wind turbines for a 3 battery system. For a 6 battery system, you're going to want 5 wind turbines. And for a 9 battery system, you're going to want 8 turbines. And 8 turbines will run 9 large batteries for all of your turrets and everything else like that. And then it also overproduces, so then that way it'll also give you that excess power to run the 10th battery, which one's your lockdown system. So yeah, 8 wind turbines can run 9 sets of turrets. 9 times 9, it's what, 82 turrets, right? Something like that. But yeah, a lot. So this is the optimal placement for all of your wind, solar power collection. I hope this helps you guys out a lot. Again, it took me another 10, 20 hours of just placing these solar panels. Oh, speaking of which, another thing I learned is that it doesn't matter where on the map you are. If you're on the north side, south side, or in the middle, it makes no difference. The solar panel placement is the same. If you're on the north side and your panels facing south, they're still going to collect the same amount of power as if you're on the south side of the map and you have them facing south. So just a heads up, this works everywhere. So yeah, this has been professional power copy and paste, and I hope you guys like it. See you guys in the next one. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know what to do. All right, bye.